Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dex, where we cover trivia and strategy for a different Pokemon each week. I'm Team Skull Boss Alex.
And I'm Pokekels, and boy howdy do we have an episode for you this week.
Boy howdy? Who are you?
What? It's a Southernism from the 19th century carried west after the Civil War.
Well, I know
It means like wow or hooey.
Okay, right, but I mean...
thought it was fun to say.
It is fun to say.
Well, good.
Okay, then can we just introduce this week's Pokemon then?
Yes, dang. It's Golisopod.
Boy howdy!
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I did it. I said the thing.
Golisopod is the big bad older brother of puny little Wimpod from Gen 7. Through evolution, Golisopod is much better equipped to defend itself, though it still retains its tendency to flee thanks to its ability Emergency Exit, which forces Golisopod to retreat when its HP goes below 50%.
Yeah, and you know what? Its tough guy exterior coupled with this lingering instinct to run makes it a perfect companion for Team Skull's Guzma, the washed up boss of basically homeless ruffians who talk big but are easily silenced with a battle. Makes sense, right? Though Golisopod probably doesn't have as cool of a theme song.
But regardless of if Golisopod is actually tough as it seems or if it's just pretending, it does have some useful tools of the trade. Its giant sharp claws slash with speed and ferocity, and its Pokedex entry from Sun version claims it can cleave seawater or even air right in two. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, what the heck does that even mean? Can't I just do that with a faucet and my finger? Can't almost everything cleave water in two? And air? Like, I did it.
Okay, yes, technically you're right, but you can't actually cut water or air into pieces, and I think what we're really referring to here is resistance. If the claws were sharp enough, they'd be able to cut through water and air with little to no resistance. But honestly, you're literally cutting through air every time you move, so maybe it's not the most useful entry to gauge strength.
And indeed, Moon's entry claims that while it apparently is very skilled in battle, Golisopod spends most of its time peacefully meditating deep beneath the ocean's surface. This is probably because Golisopod's inspiration is the giant isopod, an arthropod found in the deep waters of the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. It looks crazy, man.
It truly, truly does, but actually, this is a really good example of a concept called deep sea gigantism, in which a species of animal that lives in deep water has a tendency to be much larger than its shallow water counterparts. And it's like extreme in some cases, dude. Check these guys out. Damn.
And actually, this is an easy line to draw for inspiration too, because if you take the name Golisopod and parse it out a little, it's really just a mush-up of Goliath, which means huge, and isopod, which is exactly what it is. But the cool bit is that the giant isopod's exoskeleton has this awesome segmented overlapping look to it. It's really distinctive.
Golisopod has this too, but it looks like the designers had a little field day with it and made it both look and be super sick, especially since its Japanese name, Gusoku Musha, by the way, is made up of 3 words. Gusoku Mushi, which means isopod, Gusoku, which basically means fully equipped or decked out, and Musha, which means warrior.
So like a fully decked out isopod warrior, huh? That just sounds like an alternate universe version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Or maybe, just maybe, it's based off something much less fictional and much more fashionable.
Ooh, do you mean?
Yes, I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for this week's ridiculous segment, Pokemon that wear clothes.
And also, go wear clothes.
Is that really all you got?
And you can put that on and walk it right out of the building.
It makes so little sense.
Okay, so in general, exoskeletons are hard external body coverings found in some real-life invertebrates. It's like natural armor, and without a backbone to hold them up, it is crucial to stop them from being squished. But does that really count as clothes? Well, yes in this case, but only because Golisopod's exoskeleton is also supposed to look like samurai armor. And if you don't believe me, its French name is samurai, so there.
Starting at the head, Golisopod's sweeping antenna and the plates directly behind its face that bend upward are meant to resemble the general shape and adornments of a traditional kabuto. And no, we are not talking about this guy. We're talking helmets, bro.
And next, you know those overlapping segments on its arms? That's supposed to be the iron plates of the Sode, rectangular shaped armor pieces that covered the arms of a samurai warrior. And finally, around the waist, Golisopod's armor resembles the Haidate, thigh guards that were tied around the middle to cover the lower portion of a samurai's body.
The style is likely modeled after the Tosei Gusoku, which became prominent in the 1500s and was primarily made of iron plates to protect against firearms. Man, looking at Golisopod after looking at that is kind of pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, and it doesn't just talk the talk, it totally walks the walk, too. Samurai have a reputation for being highly disciplined warriors that for the most part valued self-control and honor over all else. And that's pretty on brand with Golisopod's meditative and calm descriptions. Crazy that it comes from such a tiny little Wimpod though, right?
Yeah, and you know, this evolution line really is a journey of growth. A helpless bug transforming into a fully equipped warrior, ready to take on challenges bravely and smartly and never panic again? Man, are we talking about Guzma or Golisopod here? Maybe it's both, but hey, that's just what happens when Pokemon wear clothes.
And if you got some clothes, go ahead and put them on, right?
Okay, what?
What?
I literally cannot believe that you were giving me grief for boy howdy and then you try to pull some weird slogan like that.
Whatever, we still have a bunch of Golisopod VGC 17 battle strategy to do though, so let's get to it, right?
Yes, fine, let's do it.
Great. Oh, and also,
Yeah?
go wear clothes.
Oh.
Golisopod's got some great stats, and thanks to a mix of low speed and access to great priority moves, it can be both a great asset or a great foil in a metagame so heavily saturated with Trick Room users. Start with an Adamant one, EV training HP and attack, and give it an Assault Vest to hold, because every little bit helps when you're going all out.
Golisopod's whole gimmick centers around getting in, quickly doing damage, taking a hit, and then switching out without losing momentum thanks to its ability Emergency Exit, which forces Golisopod out the minute its HP goes below 50%.
Which is why Golisopod's signature move is First Impression, a devastating stab bug type move with a +2 priority that only ever hits on your first turn out for the whole match. It's not an instant KO, but against certain teams, especially ones centered around Rangaroo, it can smart.
And if First Impression doesn't pick up the KO, why not follow it up with a priority stab Aqua Jet? It's a nasty little surprise, and even though it doesn't do that much damage, sometimes it's all you need, right? I love sneaky stuff like this.
Supplement this with Stab Liquidation for some dependable water damage and a 20% chance to lower defense, and Leech Life, which is much better in Gen 7 as an 80 power bug move, and you got a pretty scary moveset going on. Plus, Leech Life heals you for half the damage it does, which is helpful if you're worried about Emergency Exit activating prematurely.
But of course, that's not the only way to train a Golisopod, so as always, here are a few random thoughts.
Sucker Punch is another great priority move that loses the stab but hits a little harder against certain enemy types if you find your team needs a little extra coverage.
Even more than most Pokemon we cover on here, Golisopod's Emergency Exit makes keeping it healthy your #1 priority, and sometimes the best way to do that is Protect. Typically, we like the extra move slot for an attack, and you can't use an Assault Vest at the same time, but if you keep getting bopped, try this out with a Citrus Berry.
And finally, a lot of what Golisopod can do is shut down by Tapu Lele's Psychic Terrain. So if you do end up in a battle with one, you might want to bring Poison Jab with you. It hurts not only Lele, but also Bulu and Coco, and it's a great surprise to keep in your pocket in general.
And hey, that's it for Golisopod. What a cool Pokemon, right?
Great.
Boy, howdy.
Anyway, it's summer, so what are you doing if you don't head to the link in our description and grab one of these perfect shirts from theyeti.com/thedex? And while you're down there, why not also give a look at our official Dex Discord, where not only is there somewhere to hang out for every kind of Pokemon fan, but also we're gonna be doing some really cool streaming stuff, so keep an eye on that space.
If you want more Pokemon vids from us, click one of those weird boxes up there, or if you have time, take a second to acknowledge our Patreon supporters too, because without them, we'd be a channel about what to do when you're in crippling debt. Thanks for watching, I'm Pokekel.
And I'm Team Skull Boss Alex. Tune in next week for an extremely royal episode of
The Dex.